Okay. Franklin, I see you want to respond, but let's cross over to Ayub Gadir, who's standing by in Bomas in the latest. Ayub, what's the latest from where you are? There's been a lot going on around you. Ayub?
And Vicky from our communications center, and we are here at the Bomas of Kenya. And a few minutes ago, the chairperson of the commission, Wafula Chebukati, took to the lectern. And that is the position that many Kenyans would want him to be in relaying the much-needed information to the country. And just coming 48 hours after Kenyans exercised their democratic right to vote and take part in the process organized by the poll commission. And just a summary of the presser that was issued by the chairperson of the commission, and here he came quite clear as to the variation of the results that media stations or media outlets are doing, including ours, and where he said, giving us a background of how this all started on the 4th of March this year with the media sector working group. One of the areas he said was for collaboration between stakeholders, including the media and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. And here he said that the commission takes note of the variation in results that media houses or media organizations are relaying, and he attributed that to two major issues, which he said, number one, were probably each media house is accessing the public portal as provided by the commission of the results forms at different time, and that may be as a result of the variation that's witnessed. And also the second issue that he pointed out was probably each is using, media houses in this case, its own criteria and the sequencing, among others, and the deployment of personnel, which he said maybe is as a result or the contributing factor to the differences in terms of results that media outlets across the country are relaying. And he said this is as a matter of transparency for the media, which is a key stakeholder, he said, to access the portal, download the forms, tally the results, but he underscored that the rights and the responsibilities are a preserve of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and the returning officer for the presidential election, Wafula Chebukati, to declare the presidential results. Those were just some clarity and talking to the Kenyan people as to the differences in terms of the results that media houses are relaying. He also pointed out that in the counties of Makueni and in Kakamega, may I begin in Makueni County, in Kibwezi West constituency to be specific, he said for the 84 polling stations in the county that use the manual voter register, all the Form 34As have been relayed and have been uploaded in the portal by the returning officer. In the county of Kakamega, he said the constituencies of Malava, Matungu, Mumias West and Mumias East had used the manual voter register and were electronically transmitted through the KIMS-kit, except for Malava constituency, where only 2 polling stations are yet to transmit Form 34As here at the Bomas of Kenya. And basically, he also provided emphasis and gave chance to Professor Abdi Yakub Gulia, who is a commissioner with the poll body, to provide emphasis and explain as to what's happening just behind me here at the auditorium, the center circle, where the IEBC staff and agents of respective presidential candidates, the 4 cleared by the poll body, have congregated to authenticate, verify the results as presented by the returning officers, the physical Form 34As, and compare the same with the Form 34As that were electronically transmitted to the IEBC portal. And the emphasis he provided thereof of the tables that are provided here, the returning officer comes with the physical Form 34A. The 4 presidential candidates agents are seated, and also in their company are IEBC staff, where they verify and counter-check whether the results in Form 34A physical and the result in Form 34A electronically transmitted are the same. Thereafter, a security check, quality assurance is done. The same is presented to Wafula Chebukati, the national returning officer for the presidential election, who will then be able to deposit all the physical Form 34As in a safe just behind where they are seated. That is the main lectern over there where the commission will be sitting, a safe where they will be locked in, and the commission will be in possession of the Form 34As. And that's majorly what the statement had communicated here at the Bomas of Kenya, and coming at a time when Kenyans are waiting events from the Bomas of Kenya with bated breath and the rapt attention they are paying to after the conclusion of the campaign campaigns and also the poll process which happened on Monday, except for some polling stations and constituencies across the country where security incidences have led to a delay in the opening of polling stations, and therefore the Commission saying that, for example, in the case of Eldas constituency in Wajir County, voting started the following day on Wednesday, where the voters were given the rights to elect their member of parliament, and that's now concluded. And also that happened for Pokot County constituency in Turkana County, Turkana Central constituency to be specific, where the poll agency said that the poll process and the election opened late, therefore time was extended, and for the Kenyan people to exercise in that constituency their rights to vote. The postponement of the elections, and this is slated for someday on the 23rd of August, in 2 weeks' time. That was when the Commission issued a press include the counties of Kakamega and Mombasa, the constituencies of Kachiliba. We have Kitui Rural Constituency and also Pokot South, where the Commission had said the poll process has been suspended. And this is the much-awaited statement that the Commission always gives so timely, and there will be another one later in the afternoon, just providing clarification, specificity as to what's happening next. And just a glance at the main screen at the National Tallying Center here, so far what we have are 99.87% of all the 46,229. What that then means is that 46,167 of electronically transmitted Form 34As have landed in the online portal, and the remaining therefore number will be accounting for the 100% that's required here at the National Tallying Center, where the collation begins, the counter-checking, the authentication, and the agents who will be seated to be a witness to that process, and the observers who are also here, and the IEBC, which will thereafter, through the National Returning Officer for the presidential election, will declare the next president of the Republic of Kenya. Earlier on, we had the observation group from across the world, including the East African Community, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, which Kenya is a member of, the European Union, the African Union, who had issued a presser, and the statement read by former Tanzanian President Jakaya Kikwete, who had recommended some measures which they say the IEBC needs to adopt going forward to better the electoral process, and also the clarion call they had towards the young people in the country as to taking the destiny of the nation going forward in the deepening and the emboldening of the democratic credentials the country bears among the community of nations. Therefore, it isn't only a domestic concern for Kenyans. This is an election, a poll process that the international community, which Kenya is a member of, is watching with close attention as to the outcome, and the poll process, which they said so far so good, and a comprehensive report therefore will be handed over to the Commission according to the observation mission and the East African Community, to be clear, later after the election, in that presser which was issued by the former Tanzanian President Jakaya Kikwete. Later, when the commissioners and the chairperson will be here, we'll be able to tell our viewers what will happen next and the brief they have for the country, and break down in details for the Kenyan people who are watching this for an understanding and to be aware of what's happening and going forward, because time is lapsing for the 7-day constitutionally given to the poll commission to declare the presidential outcome. That's all for what's happening here. Trevor and Vicky, back to you in studio.
Thanks, Abdi. Ayub Abdikadir there giving us a comprehensive analysis of what's going on in Bomas, and we'll cross over to you again to find out what's happening there. Let's cross over.